Hey everybody, it's Dr. Stephen. Can you believe it's already week 3 of our introduction to the Bible class? It's hard for me to believe we're already here. So it is snowing outside at the moment when I'm taping this, but I decided just to stay down here where it's warm in my study in my basement. So real quickly, I want to say thank you to all of you guys that are jumping in and participating in the discussion questions and the discussion threads. It's been a lot of fun for me to interact with as many of you as I'm able and read your thoughts. You guys are getting it, and it's been a lot of fun. There's still a few of you that have not really jumped in on the discussion threads, and I just need to again reinforce this because it's in some ways it's such an easy way to make this a successful class for you. The way that the university is able to count online education as the same as face-to-face is these discussion questions and the interaction one to another as if we're in a classroom together, and that's kind of what I feel like it is. So basically every week there are 2 discussion questions, one basically covering each text, and in the case of the Glenn Powell text I also have been having a video that relates to it, or in the case of the Grudem text, last week I had the genre video. So there's usually one video that connects with one of the discussion questions. So you need to make one initial comment for each of the 2 questions. Generally speaking, we like to see that by the middle of the week. As I said in the email, Wednesday is technically the deadline, but I'm not being real rigid on that because this is an introductory level class. I just want you to jump in, and I'm counting it participation. So if you jump in, you're getting full credit. So you make a comment, really a paragraph, about something that hit you for each of the 2 questions. And then you need to respond to somebody else's comment or even somebody else's pushback or comment to yours for each of the 2 questions. So that means everybody would be writing a minimum of 4 posts during the week, but many of you are writing more, and the subsequent ones don't need to be more than a line or 2 or a sentence or 2. I really think this is where we grow together when we have that dialogue. So this week is really rather simple, week 3. We have readings in 2 texts. We have the Understanding the Scriptures text, and it's chapters 8 and 9, which deals with the canon of Scripture. Now that can be a little difficult. I'm just asking you to kind of skim through, read it, without worrying about memorizing the minutia, but just to get an overview of it. And in Glenn Powell's book, it's chapter 5, and there's a video this week, my second interview with Glenn. I have to tell you, I taped it a little over a year ago here in my basement, and it is by far my favorite of the interview videos. I think you guys are going to gain so much from it. I really want all of you to watch it, and that will inform you and help you as you respond to that discussion question. And then finally, not this week, but the following week, the end of week 4 on Sunday night, your first reflection paper will be due. There are 2 reflection papers, one for each of the textbooks. These are a 3 to 5 page, double-spaced book report, really. And this is all I'm asking you to do. I know you haven't read all of the books. That's the problem with a more intense 7-week online experience rather than a 15-week semester. I know you've not read all the book, but for each of the books, and I don't care which one you do first, you can do Powell's book first, or you can do Grudem's book first. It really doesn't matter to me, and it's not due this week, it's due in 2 weeks. But what I want you to do is take approximately half the paper, so 1.5 to 2 pages, to just talk about the structure and the way that the book is laid out, what the author is trying to say and how the author is attempting to say it. And then the second half, the second 1.5 to 2 pages, pick one thing that you've read thus far that just kind of resonated with you and expound on it. For these 2 papers, you can use first person. You can write in the first person, even though normally in academic work we write in the third person. So you can say, I believe this, I felt this, rather than one would say or one would think. So don't worry about that. So first reflection paper is due at the end of the 4th week, but you may want to kind of get started on it now. The second reflection paper is going to be due the end of week 6, and then the final paper, which I will talk about more next week, is going to be due at the very end of the class at the same time that you're completing your final exam and submitting anything else that you need to. So it's really not a difficult week, but I hope that this is just a wonderful experience for you. I've heard personally from a number of you at how much this has really impacted and changed the way that you look at Scripture. That's our whole point. God bless you guys. I think we're going to have a great week.